Taylor, Phoenix made a bunch of shots in this one, but in the end, you got the win. How did you win this one?
Resilience. I mean, give the Suns tons of credit. I mean, you look at the box score, it's like more or less tied in every category. Made field goals, made threes, free throw attempts, amount of assists, activity, steals, blocks. It was a one-possession game, and I think if you look at the box score, you see it. You know how many guys on both teams had big-time nights. The ball movement was phenomenal from both teams. Obviously, you know, with the Suns, with their personnel, they're going to make tough shots. And I said it before the game, it's about friction. It's about making things tough. You know, we hopefully forced enough missed shots on a night that they were shooting incredibly well. But our guys, just resilience, you know, throughout the game. Losing the first two quarters and then winning the third and the fourth. And big-time plays down the stretch from a lot of different guys. I mean, you saw Des making big-time plays. You saw Jalen Wells in overtime make some big-time shots, execution. And obviously, Ja, you know, turning up at the right time. I know he was struggling, knocking down threes. He had the biggest three of the night, obviously, late in the game. And then we ended up getting that big bucket. I mean, he was huge at the end of the fourth. And then him just knocking down 14 free throws. I mean, that's big time. And his playmaking was great. Dez's playmaking was phenomenal as well. You know, a lot of different guys. And we were trying to figure out the coverages throughout the game because they were great in drop coverage. They beat us in res. We were trying to double team. We had to throw a lot at them. But when it came down to it at the end, we came up with the big time plays in third, fourth, but especially overtime.
Coach, right here. This was your guys' first overtime game, first win in overtime as well. How did it feel being back home and just getting a hard-fought win like tonight?
It was awesome. I mean, obviously it's been close to 3-ish weeks or so. I don't know what the math is, but it's been a long time since we've been in front of our fans, and you know, proud of the group, you know, our effort for 53 minutes tonight. But you know how our crowd showed out. You know, at the beginning of the game, there was a buzz in the arena. You know, that was so cool. And despite the Suns having a great night, our guys were still fighting enough. It didn't turn into like a big time lead. And, you know, with how well they were playing in the first half, and you know, Grayson Allen gets hot, you know, going there, but we still just kept weathering the storms. And then when we broke out in that fourth quarter, you know, the crowd's just erupting. I mean, they're egging you on with a great defensive sequence or a great offensive sequence, a big time shot, drive, kick, you know, the ball movement. You know, the crowd was on our side, you know, like they are every single night, but they gave us a great boost there, you know, in that second half, and especially in overtime. And obviously our guys, you know, were leading the charge there.
It's not the first time he's, you know, made big shots for you late, but Ja's had a season with injuries and some stops and starts. So did it feel significant to you that he took over the game the way that he did?
Yeah, I mean,
for his confidence and for everything else, you know, the way that the season's been going.
Huge. I mean, give him so much credit, and you know how proud of I am. I mean, he still took 12 threes. He was in rhythm. He was getting open shots. His teammates were trusting him. Even though they weren't falling, he was taking them with confidence. They just weren't falling. He was sticking with it. He was still playing out of pick and rolls, drive and kick, you know, facilitating multiple assists, competing on the defensive side. And then obviously when it started clicking, you know, he gets a floater to fall. He's knocking down free throws all night. You know, he knew there was something that was still keeping him going. Hits the big floater, right, to tie the game, to send it into overtime, and the big time plays in the fourth quarter. That's definition of resiliency right there. And just so proud of him. You know, he's a confident guy no matter what. But for him to shake, you know, whatever struggles may have been happening throughout the game, he was still playing confidently, even though he wasn't getting the results. And then boom, second half, a whole different story.
Hey, Coach, to touch on that, just what did you think about Ja's body language from the first half to the second half? And then to end the game, you had Dez on KD. Just your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was in a good place, Ja. I mean, he faced the struggles. You know, he had a moment and then he would go and compete the next play. And as I said, he was still playing confidently on both sides of the floor. So loved his response. And obviously when he got going, I mean, it just took even to another level. You know, he found his groove over 53 minutes. And then Dez competing big time. You know, we saw that in the second matchup, I think, you know, out in Phoenix. Dez competing, you know, good friction, good one-on-one defense, forcing tough shots. KD's one of the toughest covers in the history of the game. And I thought Dez, having the confidence to put him on him in a lot of different situations, he did a great job tonight.
Coach, over here, as you enter this back half of the season and even getting into, you know, playoff series, looking at matchups and stuff like that, how much confidence does the kind of game you got from your rookie Jalen Wells give you moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, like I've said about Jalen all season long, we're just focused on the day in and day out growth. That's all that matters right now. We're not looking too far ahead. There's been nights where he's finished games. There's been nights where he hasn't finished games. And obviously he was having a great night. He was putting it all together for all four quarters. Obviously came up huge, in overtime, and thought there was things, we started switching more. So he may not have been on the primary guy, but his shift rotations off the ball, he was doing the things that we've been challenging him to get better at when he's off the ball, because he's usually on the ball, trying to be a disruptor there. So overall, hopefully this does continue to show the variability in his game, the growth in his game, just gives us more confidence in, these big time game moments that he came through. So hopefully it's just more growth moving forward. Great. Thanks everyone. Appreciate it.